Toni received an inheritance letter from his uncle, who mysteriously vanished 20 years ago. The letter, written in red ink resembling blood, mentioned an old house in a remote village, accompanied by a warning: never stay overnight, or the house will claim your soul. Yet curiosity and greed overpowered logic. That very night, Toni embarked on a journey from which he would never return. The house stood like a decaying giant carcass at the end of the road. Its door creaked open slowly, as if it had been awaiting him for a long time. Streetlights extinguished one by one as Toni approached. Each step was accompanied by incomprehensible whispers. The wind carried the stench of long-buried flesh. Upon entering, the house immediately swallowed the light. Above, footsteps echoed heavy, slow, dragging. Toni called out, only to be met with a chilling, childlike laugh. He ascended, and the walls began whispering his name. Behind him, elongated shadows danced on the walls as if alive. A large mirror at the end of the hallway appeared dull and dusty. As Toni wiped it, he saw himself, and a figure behind him, smiling with an unnaturally wide mouth. When he turned, no one was there, but the mirror still displayed them himself and that creature. Standing side by side, a small door beneath the stairs opened on its own. Beyond it lay a stone room without lights, illuminated only by self-lit candles. The walls were covered in ancient scribbles, and bloody hands clawed out from the stone surfaces. Toni stepped inside, and the door shut tightly behind him, disappearing. Soft sobs echoed from within the walls, growing closer over time. When Toni pressed his ear against the wall, it pulsed like a heartbeat. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the silence, and fresh, hot blood oozed from between the bricks. He pounded on the wall, but the sobs turned into maniacal laughter. The floor began to crack and shift, as if alive. His feet were ensnared by wooden gaps opening like mouths. Pale hands emerged from the crevices, pulling his legs in. He screamed with all his might, and the floor abruptly closed flat, clean, as if nothing had happened. Behind an old cupboard, he discovered a diary bound in human skin. Its writing spoke of blood pacts and soul-devouring spirits. The final page appeared on its own. Welcome, Toni. Now you are part of us. The ink transformed into blood, and the book laughed. He opened the door and saw himself. But the figure sat silently, with vacant eyes and an unnatural smile. When Toni spoke, the figure responded without moving its mouth, its voice echoing inside his head. You're too late. This house has consumed you since your first step. The grand clock chimed once, then stopped. Toni's wristwatch died. Moonlight through the window froze like a painting. No wind, no sound, only eternal silence. He screamed, but it was inaudible. Time had vanished. He now resided in a place devoid of mornings or futures. From beneath the floor, whispers emerged, gently calling, as if familiar. The voice transformed into his mother's sobs. Then demonic laughter. Overwhelmed by fear, Toni followed the sound to the basement, where the stench of decay and the sound of breaking bones permeated the chilling air. An altar of bones and blood stood at the center of the dark room. The walls were adorned with satanic symbols. From a gaping black hole, thin hands crawled out, seeking a victim. Toni was dragged toward the altar, and the screams of souls echoed in unison. Here, the house's ravenous spirit was awakened. As Toni attempted to flee, the house began to morph. Walls shifted and merged, erasing doors and windows. The house was alive and hungry. He heard heavy breathing from all directions. He was no guest. He was a victim trapped within the house's body, slowly being digested. At the top of the house, a small window opened. He leaped and awoke in front of the house. But now it appeared new, warm, as if never abandoned. He approached. Through the window, he saw himself entering with an innocent face full of hope. The cycle had begun anew. Toni screamed to warn himself, but the sound vanished into the air. The house reopened its door with an unseen smile. Screams from the past echoed within. Toni had become a shadow. The house gazed at the audience, because next, it's your turn.